Hello and welcome to this workshop on an introduction to the law of attraction. My name is Sam Montgomery. I'm a law of attraction teacher. I'm a past life regressionist. I'm a medium. I'm a energy worker and a spiritual alchemist. And today I'm going to talk to you about the law of attraction, do a couple of wee exercises together and end off with a meditation. So what is the law of attraction? We hear so much about it, and there's been so much written about it, there's been movies made about it, but what is it really, and how does it impact on our lives? So the law of attraction is a universal law. It's a law and sits alongside the likes of the law of cause and effect and even the law of gravity. It's a law that works, a universal law that works day in, day out, minute by minute, second by second. It's always there, it's always working. And it works to hold the universe in balance alongside the other universal laws. So it holds the universe in balance. And as such, it impacts on our lives, day in, day out, except most of the time we're unaware of it. So when we gain an awareness of the law of attraction, what it is and how it works, we can use it to our benefit in our daily lives, because every decision we make and everything we do is impacted by this law. So we have a choice really to use it consciously or unconsciously. And hopefully by the end of this workshop, you'll choose to use it with more awareness. Okay. And really, probably the easiest way to describe the law of attraction is it responds to how you filter your world. Because we all have filters and we all choose to see what happens to us and choose to see certain things in certain ways. So the law of attraction very much, I'm going to take these off. The law of attraction very much responds to how we filter our world. So if, for example, we choose to filter our world to see what happens to us with a pessimistic attitude, the law of attraction is going to create more of the same. If we choose to see it more optimistically, then the same thing is going to happen. We're going to draw more optimistic, more upbeat things into our lives. The law of attraction responds to our emotional vibration. And that's basically it. That's how it works. So it's very, very simple. And it is very simple, but we get in the way of it, okay? It's ourselves who just get in the way of it. Okay. So let's talk a wee bit about the principles of the law of attraction. What it actually does, okay, or how it actually works. Quite simply, it says that like energy attracts like energy. That's it. That's what it says. Like energy attracts like energy. So that means that when we're putting out an energetic vibration that is of happiness, we attract more happiness into our lives. When we're putting out an energetic vibration of despair, at that moment in time, we're attracting more despair into our lives. It's all about the emotional, energetic vibration that we're putting out there. And this emotional, energetic vibration controls everything. It really isn't about what we think. It isn't really even so much about what we do. It's all about how we feel. Now, there can be an argument made, sort of chicken and egg scenario. What comes first? Do thoughts come first or do emotions come first? And we'll talk about that later on. But what the law of attraction responds to and what it brings into our life in relation to is how we feel emotionally, what we put out emotionally. And that's why it's so important to be aware of how we're feeling, to be aware of how long we're feeling that way. And to consciously and awarely make decisions that create increasingly higher vibration, energetic vibration, okay? And within this, you have the power to control your life. You have the power to change your life. And that's something we miss out on because very often we feel that we're in victimhood or that we're powerless, we don't have that power. But that's because by and large, not always, but by and large, because we don't understand how the law of attraction works. And I have to say there's something about humanity, something about people that we really like our dramas. We really like, I mean, see what's on the TV, see the soap operas, the films. We really, really love drama. And the law of attraction loves it too. So it will give us whatever we're experiencing through that drama. So if we're experiencing anger, it will give us more of the like vibration. If we're experiencing joy, it'll give us more of that like vibration. The law of attraction doesn't differentiate, by the way, between what's true or what's not true. It simply picks up our emotional state at that time. So if we're, and I'm not telling you not to watch films, that's not what I'm telling you here at all, but I'm just using this as an example. If you're watching a film, maybe a horror film where you're very frightened, it's that vibration of fear that the law of attraction will be responding to in that moment. Okay? Doesn't differentiate, doesn't know whether it's actually happening directly to you or if it's because of something you're watching, like a film. Okay? And within that, okay, this is why self-responsibility is so, so crucial. This is why, and in fact, law of attraction, once you have a knowledge of it and awareness of it, it literally invites you to walk out of the concept of being powerless, of the concept of being a victim, of the concept of being just disempowered in any way, because you learn that you're not actually disempowered. You learn that you're very powerful, but you learn that you're responsible for what you think, for how you feel, for what comes into your life, that you're literally responsible for that. We don't know that. We haven't been taught that. Our schooling didn't teach us that. And that's why it's so, that's why sometimes people find it so hard to grasp. So it really invites you to become self-responsible. And when you become self-responsible, that also helps us to walk into freedom, into our own authenticity and into our own sovereignty, and to know ourselves as really as independent, worthy beings, independent, worthy people. So it's an amazing, amazing law. Within the law of attraction also, your imagination is crucial, because nothing happens without us imagining it first. And the law of attraction, this law, invites us to create scenarios that we want to bring into our lives, okay? To create conditions that we want to bring into our lives. And to do that, we need to be able to imagine them first of all. We need to be able to build some sort of picture of what we want. And we have to put an emotional content into that picture. Because remember, it's the emotional content that the law responds to. So we are invited to use our imagination to do that and to have fun creating that, okay? And not stressing out about it. It doesn't invite us to stress, because once you start stressing, that's what you bring into your life. It invites us to have fun. And finally, more than anything else, it reminds us that awareness is crucial. Awareness of what we're feeling, awareness of what we're doing, awareness of how our mind works, awareness of what's being fed back to us through the actions of other people, awareness in all areas of our lives is crucial if you want to really understand and use the law of attraction to work in the greatest capacity for you yourself. It's very, very exciting. It's really, incredibly liberating. So I've spoken a bit about energetic vibration. And I know when I've spoken about that in the past, sometimes people have said to me, but what exactly is that? So everything has an energetic vibration. And science has proven this. Molecules, atoms, everything, what we consider to be solid is actually formed of atoms and molecules that are vibrating. And it's the speed of the vibration that determines whether that's going to be solid, whether that's going to be fluid, whether that's going to be gaseous. Is that the right word? Vapor, okay? So it's the speed of the vibration that determines the density of the object. And you just, for that, to understand that better, you just have to consider water. The three states of water, maybe there's more, I don't know, but the three states that I know of water: frozen as ice, a solid, denser, heavier vibration. Now, I don't know whether it's literally, in terms of physics, a heavier, denser vibration, but I know this is how it would work energetically, and referring to the laws of attraction. So if you imagine the ice as having a very heavy vibration, water would have a less heavy vibration, and steam would have the lightest vibration of all. So the movement of the molecules, for example, the movement within the ice would be slower. The vibrational movement would be slower, slightly faster in the water and faster again in the steam. And that's how our own energetic vibration works. We have around us, we have energetic bodies around us. We call them the auric field, but really it's an electromagnetic body, and then there's more energetic bodies around us after that. And plus we have these centers, we have these chakra systems, these chakra centers throughout our body, where the energy enters and runs through our body and all things like that. So we are energetic beings, completely energetic beings. We are solid as well, because we are vibrating at a certain, at a certain level, at a certain rate energetically. And we can feel this. We can actually experience this within ourselves. Let's do some exercise actually to experience this a bit. You've maybe done this exercise before, where you rub your hands together, and what we're doing is we're kind of opening up the chakra points on our hands. So rub your hands together, okay? Take them apart, and what we're going to do is we're going to feel our own auric field, okay? So take them apart, our own energy field, and then bring them slowly together. And as you bring them slowly together, you'll start to feel maybe some resistance, maybe tingling, but some sort of sensation that'll be different from when you're just moving them towards each other, okay? So when I get to there, I can feel a slight resistance. And that's just me with my normal energetic field, okay? My normal auric field around me. That's where the energetic field for me kind of meets at the moment, okay? Now, if, for example, if I put myself deliberately into a lower vibrational state, okay, and I'll do that by thinking about something I don't like. I'll do that by thinking about, what will I think about? Okay, think about being cold and wet. I don't like being cold and wet, okay? So I'm thinking about being cold and wet, and the thoughts of being cold and wet is going to impact my energy field, my vibration. So thinking about being cold and wet, and I'm going to see where I'm really going to, so there you are. So that's where the field has shrunk to, is there. So you can see how we pull our energy field in towards us, in closer to us. It becomes more intense as we feel uncomfortable, okay? Now, and that means we're less open to new experiences. We're less open to letting things into us. We're less open to feeling emotionally, upbeat emotionally, okay? Now I'm going to think about something that I really like. And you do this as well. I mean, I'm just showing you this, but I want you to do it as well. But finally, I'm going to think about something that I feel really good about. Okay, so what I feel really good about? I feel really good about laughing. I love to laugh, and I love to have fun with friends. And I just loved it. And there you are. That's where the energetic field now has arrived at. Has stretched to, has enlarged to, has expanded to, expanded is the word I'm looking for, has expanded to. That's a higher energetic vibration. So you can see the difference. You can see how our energy field, just like within, with ice and water and steam, when each condition is different, when the vibration is lower, it's ice, when it's slightly higher, it's water, when it's really high, it's steam. The same with ourselves. When we change our energetic vibration emotionally, our emotional energetic vibration, we expand or we shrink. Okay, so do you know how we go at that? Just first of all, by rubbing your hands together, just activating those chakra points, and just have fun with this. Okay, everyone can do this. Just have fun with it. It's just very, and relax while you're doing it. The shift can be very subtle, so just play with it. Bring your hands together, and this is just your normal emotional energetic vibration, how it is shown in your energy field, right, that you're looking for. So just bring them together, and I can actually start to feel resistance there of mine, okay? So Bring them together until you start to feel resistance. If they go right in, that's fair enough. Bring them out again and start again. Okay, and just play with it, just for a minute or two, just play with that. Have fun with it. See how close you go or how far away you are. You will move through several energetic fields. So you may feel resistance at several points as you move in, but you're looking for the one where you feel the most resistance. Okay, so just have fun with that for a minute or two. Now, I'm going to suggest, if you want to do that for a while, that you stop the video and do it. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the next one, and it's exactly the same, but this time you're thinking about something you don't like. So I thought about being cold and wet. Okay, I don't like being cold and wet. So I'm thinking about being cold and wet, and I'm bringing my hands in to see where they, yes, and that's where I'm feeling the resistance. So you can see how that's reflected, how my energy field has shrunk because I don't like being cold and wet. You can see how the energy changes. Okay, so again, you try that, and I'm going to kind of give you about 30 seconds or so, but I'm going to ask you again to stop the video and to practice it if that's what you want to do, if that's just to get the feel, because it can be very subtle. You can feel maybe a resistance, you can feel a tingling, you can feel a warmth. Different people experience these boundaries in different ways. Okay, so just have we go with that. Okay, and then finally, the third time, rubbing your hands together again, coming way out and thinking about something you really like. So I'm thinking about laughter, fun, having enjoyment. I'm thinking about one, yeah, and there's how wide the energetic field is now with me. So you can see how it expands away out, and that's because I'm vibrating at a higher frequency, just because I'm thinking of fun, things I like. So you can see how it's amazing. You can see how humans expand and contract depending, their energy fields depending on their vibrational frequency, their emotional vibration frequency. And this is the same frequency that the law of attraction also responds to. And I want to say that within that, we intuitively know, we intuitively communicate using this emotional frequency. Even if we aren't totally aware of it, we intuitively communicate, we intuitively feel it. If you go into a shop, or if you go into somewhere, a room, where someone's stressed, you may well pick up the fact that that person's stressed, even though no words have been spoken. You may not even have observed the body language. But as soon as you walk into that room, you may feel uncomfortable. And that's because you're reading the emotional, energetic vibration. The same with happiness. Yeah, and it's contagious. I mean, you can see how, if a group of people are happy, how that ripples out, okay? That's the emotional, energetic vibration. And that's also what healers and psychics and empaths work with. An empath will not only feel that vibration, but they'll experience it as if it's their own. An unaware empath will experience it as if it's their own. An aware empath will feel it and know it's not their own, okay? But someone who isn't quite aware yet will think it's their own emotions, their own experience, okay? Psychics, when someone's working with you psychically, that's what they're working with. They're working with your emotional, they're working with your energetic vibration, and that's what they're reading, okay? And that's where they're getting their information from. And we all do it, whether we're conscious of it or not, we all do it, okay? Other things that kind of use dowsing, when you see people dowsing, that's what they're doing. They're measuring, or they're using the energetic vibrational field of whatever it is they're dowsing for, okay? It may not be an emotional energetic field if they're not working with humans, but it's an energetic field they're working with. The same with kinesiology. They're working with an energetic field. So it's used all the time. And it's because of that. It's because the law of attraction responds to our emotional vibration that it can't be fooled. Okay, because a lot of the stuff that's out there about the law of attraction, there's a lot of stuff kind of saying that, it's just about having a positive mindset. It's just about thinking positively. It's just about affirmations. And while all of that can be very, very important within the law of attraction, it's not just about that. Because if you're saying if you're saying something that doesn't feel good to you, and if you're reacting to that within yourself, so you feel uneasy about using a certain affirmation, that you think this is never going to be true, that's what the law of attraction is responding to. It's not the words you're saying, it's your feeling that this isn't true, that this isn't happening. So if, for example, you're using an affirmation to say, I am very wealthy, okay, but your body's feeling that you're not very wealthy, the law of attraction is hearing and responding to the fact that you believe you're not very healthy, you feel you're not very healthy, or wealthy, sorry, not healthy, wealthy. So it's bringing you less wealth. So something, and that's the subtlety, that's the difference. That's not necessarily what you hear about the law of attraction. And that's what you really need to understand. That's what we all really need to understand. There's no fooling this. There's no fooling this law whatsoever. So you can't just kind of say affirmations mindlessly and feel bad or disbelieve in yourself when you're saying them, because that's not how it works. Okay. And in fact, when you do that, when you're forcing yourself to think positively, sometimes you feel resistance to that, and the law of attraction responds to that resistance. It's really important to remember that in the universe, or according to the universe, there's no such, there's always abundance, okay? So this is something else really interesting. There's always abundance. There's abundance everywhere you look. There's abundance in nature, there's abundance in the air, there's abundance in different weather formations. There's always abundance, okay? And there's even abundance in lack, because the universe is simply abundant, okay? Completely abundant. It doesn't understand lack. It doesn't understand no. So whenever we focus on something, it's no use us saying I don't want more work. I don't want whatever it is, because the universe hears the word, the vibration, whatever it is, and that's what it responds to, okay? So if it hears lack of work, that's what it'll give you. If it hears, for example, if you're saying I don't have enough money, okay? I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I don't have enough money. The universe hears you saying not enough money. And that's what it gives you in abundance. Okay, so it doesn't understand the word no. It simply understands the emotional state of being. And it's a law that's applied equally and evenly throughout. There's no favoritism within this law. It is just applied. It's just applied as it's applied. But that's really important to remember that it doesn't understand the word no. And it's like sometimes, there's a continuum of emotions, or there's a continuum of let's see, it's like there's a big stick and there's a yes here and there's no here, okay? And whatever the stick's measuring, say the stick, for example, is measuring love, okay? The top end, the yes end, is an abundance of love. The bottom end is a lack of love as we perceive it, okay? If we're standing in the place of wishing we had more love in our life, maybe wishing we had a partner in our life, but we're so aware of the fact we don't, that part of us is focused on the fact that we're lonely. The law of attraction doesn't say, okay, they want more love, here it is. The law of attraction here's the loneliness and gives us more loneliness. Okay, that's much of the secret of working it, is how you think and how you learn to choose very wisely through awareness. Okay. And in fact, what I want to say as well is, karma, in a sense, is created, is self-created. Of course, karma is self-created, but it also is kind of works on the same principle as the law of attraction, in that when we do something, okay, because I'm past life regressionist, I work with this all the time over past lives, so I'm very, very aware of this. So it's like when we're brought up to believe something about ourselves, okay, that we're not good enough, or that we have to try harder, or whatever it is, that all of us hold some of this within us and contributes to a sense of our own unworthiness, okay? When that translates into shame or guilt, that we didn't do well enough in an exam, we didn't ride the bicycle well enough, whatever it was, we didn't do well enough for our parents or for our teachers or for whoever was around us. When we hold guilt about that, once we hold that guilt in our body doesn't hear we feel bad because we didn't ride the bike far enough, we couldn't run fast enough. Our body doesn't hear that. Our energy system doesn't hear that. All it hears is we aren't good enough, okay? And it's that belief, that emotional belief, and that emotional resonance that's held in our body that becomes karmic. It becomes the karma, because we hold on to it. We become ashamed of it, even though it might be a very small thing. But as a child, we become ashamed of the fact we didn't do well enough, and that's held in our body, and that becomes the seeds of our karma, and that's built upon, and we then attract more things to us that we don't feel good about, that we feel we can't succeed in. And that's what karma is, at its very most basic, simple level. That's what it is. And that's why shadow work's so important, but that's another completely different topic. That's what karma is. And it works on the same principles as the law of attraction. We attract, like attracts like, okay? So, exactly the same principles. And I'm just going to ask you and there's so much that we resist, okay? There's so much that we resist, that we feel maybe not good enough, that we feel we can't achieve, simple things that we don't even speak, that we don't even think about. For example, one of mine is, believe it or not, I don't like speaking. I don't like speaking to groups of people. And I really resist doing that. And I can feel it in my body whenever I think about doing it. I can feel the resistance building up in my body, okay? Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I resist. So take a wee while just to think about what it is that you resist, what it is that you're holding in your body that you resist. And you'll know it, because your body will literally tighten. You'll feel it in your body. Do you resist being good to yourself? Do you resist giving yourself time to get ready in the mornings? Do you resist exercising? Do you resist trying out new things? Do you prefer to stay in a comfort zone and resist doing something new? Do you resist speaking your truth? Are you a people pleaser? There's 101 things that we resist, and we can feel, when we resist something, we can feel it in our body. And it's that resistance, again, that the law of attraction responds to, okay? The law of attraction feels that resistance and responds to that, rather than to what we want, okay? So it's really important when we're working with this law to recognize our own resistance, to recognize our own vibrational resonance, and to work with that, okay? And the idea of resistance came about because basically just what we resist, we attract more of, okay? And that's often like the karmic trigger, or the karmic energy, or the energy we don't want to be acknowledging, okay? So it's really important with this law that we really know ourselves well and are prepared to work with ourselves and to work through what isn't sitting with us anymore, what doesn't serve us anymore. Okay, so just again, you might want to take a few minutes just to think about what it is that you resist, either feeling or experiencing. And I suggest again that you stop this recording now and just take some time to do that. And when you're doing it, feel it in your body, okay? So really feel how resistance impacts on your body, because that's what we want to be aware of. We want to be aware that when we're resisting something, we're holding ourselves back in all sorts of ways. And we want to be aware of that resistance so we can start to work through it. And in as easy a way as possible. Okay, so just take a minute or two to do that. Very good. Now, we've spoken about the emotions. And we've spoken about how emotions carry an energetic vibration. And we've spoken how there's a lower energetic vibration and a higher energetic vibration. And the higher we travel up that emotional scale, then the more we attract of what we want. If we're wanting love and joy and happiness, the more that we're going to, the higher our vibration rate is going to be, and that's what we're going to attract. So I just thought we'd do this wee exercise, and there's no right or wrong in this exercise. Everyone experiences this differently, but I just thought we'd try this wee exercise. So if you haven't already, if you get yourself a pencil and a sheet of paper, or a pen and a sheet of paper, just to write down these words I'm going to give to you. I should have said that at the start of the video, shouldn't I? To get a pen and a piece of paper. Very good. Okay. So just write down these words, and I'm giving you them in just any old order. And I'm just going to put them up to you so that you can see them. But it's going to come around the wrong way. It is. Okay. So doubt. So write down doubt, D-O-U-B-T, doubt. Contentment. Just write them down the line. Joy. Yeah, the best thing is just write them down one below the other. Shame. Guilt. Gratitude. Boredom. Appreciation. Blame. I say blame twice. Anyway, blame. Optimism. There's only a few more to go. Fear. Love. Courage. Anger. Depression. And hopefulness. Okay, so hopefully you have all those words written down on a piece of paper, one below the other. And now what I want you to do, and I'm going to ask you again to stop the video to do this, but what I want you to do is to look at each of these words and feel it in your body, okay? So for example, fear. Think about fear and allow yourself to feel that, what fear feels like in your body. Does it feel good? Does it feel expansive? Does it feel like it's contracting you? Does it feel as if you're in a higher state of vibration? Does it feel as if you're in a lower one? Do you feel lighter or heavier? How does fear feel to you? Okay. And I want to do that, you to do that with each word. And as you're doing it, I want you to rank each word in order from the best feeling words right down to the worst feeling words. Okay. And this is to give you an idea of a vibrational scale of emotions. Okay. So do you understand? So at the top, for example, at the very top of it, you might have love, or you might have joy. You might have that very, very, that really good feeling, light-hearted, expansive emotion. And at the bottom, you may have depression. Okay. Or whatever feels right to you. And in between all of those, put the words as you'd rank them in order. There's no right or wrong in this. The purpose of it is simply to enable you to feel the vibrational, the energetic impact of each word that you hold when you're in that state of emotional being. Okay, so can you do that? That would be really good. Turn the video off and spend some time doing that. Thank you so much. Okay, and welcome back again. So just to recap on that, I just want to say again, there's no right or wrong in that. Everyone experiences things differently. And I'd love to hear some feedback about that. So if you can message me, or if you can get in touch, I would just love to hear some feedback about that and how you actually experience that. Okay. Now, central or fundamental to how we feel, to the emotions we hold, to what we feel guilty about or good about, is our belief system. What we believe to be true, what we've been taught is true, what we've found out for ourselves is true, what we believe the truth is. And it has to be said that truth is different for every single person, because every single person's experience is different. There's no one truth, there's many truths. And really, what we believe is simply what we believe to be true. It's simply a thought that we keep repeating to ourselves and tell ourselves this is true, or that we've been taught as a child and it's been repeated and repeated and repeated to us until we've come to believe it to be true. So that's what a belief is. And they come from all sorts of places. They come from childhood, they come from parents, they come from education systems, they come from society, they come from peer groups. Our beliefs come from all sorts, certainly when we're young, come from all sorts of ways, just all sorts of places, places that we believe and people we believe have authority over us, okay? But those beliefs are not necessarily true to us. We tend to accept the beliefs that we've been given as a child and go with them. And even maybe at 50 years of age, we're still holding the same beliefs. We haven't questioned them. We haven't thought, are these beliefs working for us? Or if we have, we've maybe thought, well, I can't change it because that's what's true. That's the way it works. And yet sometimes when we sit and we give some time to thinking about something, we discover it isn't true. And one of the things that really comes to my mind when we talk about that is someone who's been told that they're not good at something, okay? So if, for example, we're taught when we're very young that we're not good at maths, then we're going to hold that belief throughout our lifetime, perhaps. And maybe if we thought about it and we looked at maths in a different way, we'd discover that we're very good at handling money. We're very good with working with figures in a different way. So that belief is not necessarily true. And then once we begin to realize that it isn't necessarily true, then we begin to find with more skills mathematically than we realized we had. We may be good with patterns. We may be good with music. There could be lots of things that we're good at, which is fundamentally mathematical in nature. Okay. And you know, science does this all the time. This is how science works. They reevaluate, they look at the research, something, they find something new out, they change their understanding, their belief of what was right in the past, to something new. And just a few things I was thinking about this today is like, as regards health, it wasn't that long ago that stomach ulcers, for example, were believed to be caused by stress. And then it was discovered they're actually caused by bacteria. I remember my mum telling me, and she still would, and I would say it sometimes too, wrap up warm going out in that cold day or you'll get a cold. And that's not the way it is. Interestingly, you just don't get a cold from the cold air. It isn't just held in the cold air. There's a connection between the lack of humidity and the viruses that spread colds and flus, but it's not because you're out in the cold air. Mobility following surgery. Wasn't that many years ago that people who had major surgery were made to lie in bed for several days, sometimes a week? Nowadays, we know that people need to move as soon as possible to stop blood clots and to stop thrombosis and things like that. So beliefs change all the time, except sometimes we don't examine ours and we don't allow them to change. So it's really important to update our beliefs. It's almost like rebooting a computer, I want to say. We need to update our beliefs. We need to look at what we're holding on to that doesn't serve us anymore. Okay. And this is really important, because when we believe something, the connection of this to the law of attraction, when we believe something that isn't true, we're attracting more of that untrue belief into our lives. Okay. So when we believe something negative that isn't true about ourselves, we're attracting more of that negativity into our lives, because that's the emotion that we're going to carry with it. Not the fact that we believe it, as the negative emotion that we hold with that. Okay. So that's why it's so important to examine our beliefs, to understand what emotional vibration we hold alongside those beliefs, and to be able to work with those. Okay. So what beliefs do you hold that don't serve you? What beliefs do you hold that don't hold true for you anymore? If you take a moment or two to think about it, you'll find there are many. So just think about that. Again, if you want to turn the computer off, or the video off for a minute or two, and just think about that for a minute or two. Okay. Now, and again, we're still staying with the truths and the beliefs, okay? And again, the reason we're staying with this is because it's these hidden beliefs that very often we feel we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we're to blame for something, or we carry shame, or we carry judgment, okay? It's these hidden beliefs that get in the way of us working with the law of attraction. Because it's these hidden beliefs that carry the vibrational energy that we're not aware of. And that's why it's so important to become aware of them. So we can work with them, we can get them out in the open, and we can then really work very successfully with the law of attraction. Okay. And this is why the law of attraction often doesn't work for people, because they don't realize what the vibration they're holding within their body pretty much permanently. And until we realize that and move past this, then it's like a barrier, an immediate barrier to us becoming responsible for ourselves. Because when we believe things that aren't true, when we believe things that other people have told us, we're not being responsible. We're not standing in our own power. Okay. And everyone has their own truth, because everyone just has a different experience. And that's the way it is. And there's no right or wrong in that. That's just the way it is. In the same way that when we're self-responsible, everyone has the ability to be responsible for themselves. Okay. And that means being responsible for their actions, their thoughts, their emotions, their deeds, even what they draw into their lives. Once we become aware of ourselves, we're all responsible for ourselves. Okay, we're not responsible for a neighbor. Different when kids are young, but as we get older, we're responsible for ourselves. And when we realize we're responsible only for ourselves, well, then we can cease any judgment we might have on other people. Okay, we're not projecting outwards anymore. We're staying within our own energy fields. We're staying within our own body. We're strengthening our own systems. We're becoming empowered. we find then within that we become much more aware of whenever we self-judge. We become much more aware of those negative emotions that we carry within ourselves. And we can easily perpetrate those emotions if we're not aware of them. So they're the emotions I've been talking about. The emotions of inadequacy, of shame, of guilt, of unworthiness. And many, many, many of us carry those emotions. And a quote that I actually really, really love by Khalil Gibran, who was a Lebanese American writer, poet, and visual artist. The quote is, "If we were all to sit in a circle and confess our sins, we would laugh at each other for our lack of originality." So the truth is that the things that we hold so deeply in shame within ourselves are the same things that everyone else holds so deeply in shame within themselves. And whenever we don't talk about it, whenever we don't express whatever this is, we think we're the only one. And that makes us go deeper into our shame. Silence, in many senses, is, I don't want to say a killer, but it really makes us feel much more intensely what we believe is only ours. And yet when we start to talk, when we become aware, we start to talk and we start to share, we realize that the majority of people have these same feelings of inadequacy, unworthiness, shame, guilt, whatever it might be. And once we start to talk about it, we literally release it from our system. Do you know, so it's really important that we're aware, and we're aware that we're not alone in this. Not at all alone in this, okay? And that's again, that awareness enables us to increase our energetic vibration. So we're not holding on to those lower emotions, we're able to move on to higher emotions. Okay. We only have to hold an emotion for 17 seconds for it to attract more like it. Now that's the same in terms of thoughts. Okay, we only have to hold a thought or an idea that carries an emotional impact for 17 seconds and we attract more like to ourselves. So just be aware of that. And that works both ways. That works with good emotions and what we perceive to be bad emotions. That works both ways. But it also gives you an idea of how quickly we can shift and we can change and we can bring more things that we want into our lives. 17 seconds. That's all. 17 seconds to start to bring more of what we want into our lives. Okay. So it's really important to practice choosing thoughts and emotions that feel a bit better. And we can 100% be fussy about what we feel and what we think. We can work with our thoughts and our emotions to choose ones that are much better suited to us. It's very much about baby steps. So if you're feeling, for example, if you're feeling really quite down about something, find a thought that's slightly better than the thought you're feeling. So if you're feeling, for example, I'm never going to get this work done today, okay? And it's really getting down on you and it's really weighing on you, okay? Deliberately choose a thought that feels a bit better. So the thought that you might choose may be, well, I thought that yesterday, but I did get it done. So immediately you start to get some relief, and that's what you're trying to bring into your life, is that wee bit of relief. Okay, so in the realization that you did get it done the day before, choose another thought that feels a wee bit better. And it could be, well, I can do it a wee bit faster today because I know what I'm doing now. And you're, again, that's a lighter emotion, and that's moving you up through that emotional scale. So keep choosing thoughts that are just a wee bit better. And that's how you work with your emotions. That's how you work with your thoughts to increase your vibrational rate. Okay, it's a process. It's a process that requires commitment, requires discipline. Yeah, it requires practice. So be prepared to give yourself, to honor yourself, to love yourself enough to give yourself the time to do that, because you deserve it. You truly, truly deserve it. Okay. Other ways to break this cycle of falling into lower emotions without awareness. is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. You deserve your own kindness. That voice in your head that may be telling you off or maybe saying things you don't like, be gentle with that as well. Or move into another room in your mind. Imagine there's 2 rooms in your head. Let that voice be in the living room talking away, and you move into the sitting room or into the kitchen where you can get peace from it. And just don't be listening to it. Okay, everyone has that voice in their head. You can choose to believe it or not to believe it. Better to choose not to. Okay, without battling with it, without fighting with it. Better just to choose not to believe it, not to listen to it. Commitment to yourself. Commitment to this pattern of increasing your vibrational awareness, of increasing your vibrational energy, of moving up through this vibrational scale every day and staying up or towards the top of it. And that may involve walking away from situations, okay? Because it's so easy for us, especially in families or with friends. We all have maybe friends who are maybe not as aware or maybe not as into this law of attraction kind of energy as you are. And it's easy to get pulled into their dramas. And it's easy to get pulled into their negative emotions. Or even when you're listening to the news, sometimes it's easy to get pulled into the negativity of that. So sometimes you have to choose to walk away. And when you do it with compassion for yourself and for the other person, whatever the situation. Have belief in yourself. You can do this. You really can do it. Not only can you do it, you are doing it. And if you're not in the stage at the moment to have belief in yourself, then borrow it from someone else. If you're one of my students, and even if you're not, but if you're one of my students, I am really happy to lend you my belief in you, because I do believe in you. I know 100% you can do that. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't do it. So borrow my belief in you until you really come to find your belief in yourself, and you will. Your intention, hold your intention. Write it down if you have to. Put it up around the house. Hold your intention. Hold your goal or hold your purpose in your mind. Okay, really important to know what you're working towards. Use your imagination. Even if things are going badly for you, use your imagination to imagine how they could do better. Your imagination is such an underused resource. So use it, practice it, enjoy it. And practice, 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 practice. So very important. I'm coming back to what I said about imagination. Einstein said, at least I hope he said, because I found this online and I want to believe that Einstein did say this, even if he didn't, it's very, very relevant. Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. It is, strictly speaking, a real factor in scientific research. So imagination allows us to expand, to evolve, to become that which we weren't before. The simple process of imagining doing something or being somewhere or experiencing something. Our bodies, our minds cannot differentiate between what is real and what's imagined. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind working together cannot differentiate. The subconscious mind cannot differentiate, and that's what feeds into the conscious mind. So when you imagine, your subconscious mind will take that as truth, as fact, and feed that into your conscious mind. And then that's what your experience becomes in time. So use your imagination, enjoy your imagination, have lots of fun with your imagination. There are several steps to actually using the law of attraction. Now, this is just an introduction to it, so I can't go into anything too much depth today. But there are several steps in actually using it, putting it to use. And the first thing is to determine what it is you want, to have a clear idea of what it is you want, whatever you want to achieve, to acquire, whatever it might be. Know what that is, be specific about it, okay? Get the detail of it. You might want to write it down, you might want to draw it, whatever it is, really have a good picture of it in your mind and feel it. as if you already have it. So use your imagination, call your imagination in here. Think about how you would feel if you had this condition, whatever it might be. If you had the partner that you want, or the money that you want, or if you had the holiday, or if you had the health, or whatever it is you might want, how would that feel to you? And really invite that feeling in and bask in that feeling, because that's what the laws is giving to you, is that feeling. That's what it's responding to. So bask in that feeling, okay? And let that feeling just run free, okay? You don't have to try. You don't have to force it. This should be stress-free. Just enjoy it. And then just leave it. Do this as often as you want to do it. And then just leave it. Let the universe do the work. Because once you do that, you're putting out the universe, this is what I want. The universe immediately is going to gather these conditions together for you. And it's going to wait for the right opportunity to give it to you. Okay? So immediately it's gathering what you want together, and it's holding it there for you until it can find the right time to give it to you. Now, believe it or not, the hardest part of this for us sometimes is the receiving of it, because we have to hold ourselves in that vibration of it to receive it. And often it isn't easy for us to receive. This is, you know, and this is where it's so important for us to really work on our vibration and hold it high so we can receive what we've asked for. Because once we think it, once we imagine it, it's already done. And the next part, and that's the universe's work doing it, putting it together for us. Our next part of the work is to receive it. Okay? And to be grateful for the receipt of it. And that's how easy law of attraction is. Once we clear our system of the emotions that don't serve us. Okay? Yeah, that's straightforward. I want to talk a wee bit about gratitude. Gratitude is such an important emotion. Gratitude is one of the highest emotions. And it's really, really good if you can have a gratitude diary. Okay? So every day when you get up, or every night before you go to bed, have a diary and write down 3, 5, 10, whatever number feels good to you, of things that you're grateful for that day, or that you really appreciate that day. And feel the gratitude. Feel your heart opening, because it's all about your heart opening. The receiving is in the heart opening. So I would really, really urge you all to keep a gratitude diary. Okay. So listen, I am going to do meditation, and I will post it up following this video, but it will be a separate video. If you have any comments, anything to say, please let me know. And I hope this has been of benefit to you. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you very much. Talk soon. Bye.